Hello, welcome to State of Waste for February 27th, 2022. Kind of wrapping up some of the committee meetings to hear bills from other chambers. So we've got some that have moved through the other education committees. So House Bill 1617, school calendar holidays, has moved on to rules. Senate Bill 5498, the posthumous high school diplomas bill, that has moved on to rules. House Bill 1834 moved to the floor. So that's went through the rules committee, now is on the floor and be able to be discussed and voted on. That one was pretty well unanimous for the vote on that out of the Senate Education Committee. House Bill 1611, highly capable adding equity, that is in rules. Also passed almost unanimously. Bone marrow awareness went into rules. A lot of conversation in the committee and the executive session about this, which is part of the maybe the frustrating thing for a lot of people is that is this really a mandatory thing or should it be left in local control? And that's where the differences were mainly, and just the conversations about what should be left in the local school boards to decide. Is this really important for everybody to know? So that conversation was rather interesting to listen to, and in the end, it was passed and is now in rules. House Bill 1162, this is the graduation requirements that would keep the graduation credits at 24 but added another pathway. That was scheduled for executive session and no action was taken. So we will see what happens with that bill. Still a lot of concerns about adding CTE pathway math and not requiring algebra 1 geometry. What would that look like? Isn't it equivalent? Yes, our pathway is important. Absolutely. We need to give kids opportunities, but how do you fund that? How do you make that happen in schools when you're limited with the number of staff and the number of sections of classes you can offer? So, some things definitely would need to be worked out with that. And there was an interesting conversation about the different mandates and things that keep coming down and how in the world, this was in the Senate K 12 and Early Learning Committee, why we keep changing everything. And then one of the senators mentioned that, well, the world is changing rapidly and we need to keep up with that. Well, it doesn't mean we need to change everything we're doing within the school system. There are some changes that do need to be made, but it doesn't have to be every year, every 2 years that we make these massive overhauls. And it's so hard to keep up with within the school system. I still remember not that long ago, we had 4 classes and every class had a different graduation requirement. So that makes it super hard for us to keep track of and trying to tell kids, okay, what grade are you in? Well, here's your requirements. And then with all the COVID stuff, there's all kinds of changes happening as well. So anyway, that's an interesting bill. We'll see if it moves forward. Don't know if it will or what will happen. And then still stuck in appropriations or ways and means is Senate Bill 5719, which is the cost of college in the classroom, and then House Bill 1601, which was the homelessness pilot. I did listen to a little bit of debate about adding arts, making arts more of a feature in schools, and there's a lot of disagreement about that as well. So that could be an interesting one from more from a district perspective than a classroom teacher perspective. But some of the smaller school districts have said that we can't find people to teach those now. So if we're mandated to teach it, what do we do? Do we pull somebody out of math and put them in the classroom to teach arts? I mean, that's maybe what they'll have to do, and that's not really what's intended from that. So they talked about the unintended consequences of passing this legislation, and everybody on the Republican side voted no for that one, and every Democrat voted yes. And so it's kind of sad that it doesn't seem like there's the dialogue, but no one seems to care about the other side. So it's kind of frustrating to sit and listen to how we've got these major concerns. We do like the concept of it, but how can we make this better? And no one's really interested in changing it. So anyway, that's some stuff that's going on as far as arts, fine arts, and arts in the classrooms. So we'll see what happens with that on the floor and what changes we've made district level. So that's all I got for this week. Kind of not a lot. So this will not be a very exciting end of the legislative session. There's not that many bills left that we got to worry about. So we'll see if there are any changes made, and I'll update you as those happen. Have a great week.